Good morning and welcome to your 20 days of yoga quarantine challenge. The real challenge is to be a little bit more flexible in your mind and just try to find the 20 minutes to squeeze this into your day, or maybe multiple times throughout the day depending on what you're up to. We're going to start with this idea of nonviolence, your first niyama, which is not really about physical violence so much as it is your, not just your perception, might be your experience of yourself, the words you share with yourself, that inner dialogue that's always shed during the course of the day. It could be as simple as, little put downs here, you suck, you're not good at that, oh, that was really terrible, you did that horrible. You do that on and on and on throughout the day and not really think about how that accumulates in the body. Bigger than what it seems in the moment. So bringing those little thoughts into the forefront of your mind as you move through this practice today, kind of reshaping your perception, your intention, and how you're talking to yourself with as much intention, I hope, as we talk to other people in our lives. So, alternate nostril breathing, as a means to get you a little bit grounded, and we'll be off to the races, so no worries, plenty of work and movement. You're going to take your thumb out, pinky, ring finger, keep the pointer and the middle finger kind of pressed gently to the heel of your hand. Some of you are familiar with this. We're going to take 3 full cycles. Before you do that, just a quick reminder, pressing one nostril, you're going to breathe in, to pause, a full breath out, to pause, and we'll switch nostrils to do the same. Breathing in, at the top pause, rinse out, and pause. So go ahead and press your thumb into your right nostril. Take a long breath in. Pause. Long breath out. Switch nostrils. Breath in. And breath out. Switch nostrils. A little more Ujjayi breath to it. And rinse out. Switch to breathe in. And rinse out. Last cycle. Switch nostrils. Breathe out. Switch nostrils. Breathe in. And breathe out. As you release, just take a generous breath in. And a big breath out. Notice as you breathe in gently and release. Keep the breath moving. So you're going to gently move yourself off your block or your chair. If you are seated at maybe a table or a couch, you can move yourself somewhere. You can find Uddiyana Padangusthasana. Some of you are familiar with wrapping your peace fingers around your big toes. So as you do that, you're going to sit back onto your bum. We're also looking for balance here, so as you start to extend the legs and kick into the fingers, you can leave your knees bent. You can explore extending the legs or even taking more of a straddle stretch, but you want to find a variation where you can roll the shoulders down and lift the gaze. Enough to gently open the throat and start to use that belly breathing. A little bit of Ujjayi breath here. Again, focusing on that hip hinge, so activate the core. Right, if you have that straddle stretch, bring yourself back, toes relatively to touch, maybe you bend the knees. And recline just a little bit. Again, activate the low belly. We're going to find 5 little crunches. A little tuck of knees for 3. Not a big movement, just enough to reactivate the low belly. 1 more for good measure. And we're going to roll back to Viparita. As you come onto your back and extend legs to the sky, it's virtually the same posture. Arms are reaching, toes are flexed, and legs are engaged. Press the low of your back, the the part of you that starts to round into your mat. So belly's moving towards the spine. And as you engage to lift your head, gently keep the length of the cervical spine. We'll take those 5 little crunches. Just little movements through the belly. Almost as though you're just kind of rolling those low ribs a little closer to the hips and your pubic bone. One more for good measure. And then as you slowly rock back through your boat and cross your legs and come on to tabletop. All right, take your time if you need to roll up your mat or maybe take a little something to pad the knees. Go for it. Right, non-balance, be kind to yourself. As you start to take the tops of your feet onto the mat, you want to be able to sit back. So some of us might want to bring a little bit of block underneath the bum. Maybe you got a couch cushion, a pillow, anything will do, even a textbook, maybe a water bottle. You can use your palms, you can use fists, you can use blocks if you have them, something sturdy. And we're going to take these Lalasana presses. So again, core activation. As you lean a little bit forward and lengthen the spine, press your shoulders down. And we're going to press the knees to the heart. So belly's drawing in. You can use a little bit of the legs. We'll do that 3 times. So press up and release. Length. Press up and round. And release. One more. Press and release. This time as you press and bring the knees up, we're going to lift the bum up. So a little piking action, again from your low belly. Draw it in. Here we go. Knees up, lift, and release. Pike up, lift biscuits, and come on down. One more time. Squeeze up and in, lift, and release. This time as you press up and curl the toes, we'll come into your ragdoll. So walk your feet a little bit wider apart. You have your toes in, heels a little bit wider. And it might feel really good to bend your knees a touch, maybe to sway the body a little side to side. Right? But take one more generous breath here. Let gravity work on the length of your spine and work your feet underneath you. Toes can touch, knees can touch you. You can work hips with distance as you work to a flat back. Palms to shin, shoulders roll. And again, that low belly activation, reach those airplane arms behind you. Rinse the triceps again. Find that little bit of balance as you move into the heels. You're going to lift the toes. It'll be the strength of your hamstrings, your bum. Reach your arms towards warrior 3. Yeah, I want to keep driving your hips behind you. You want to be a little more in the heels, so maybe lift the balls of your feet. You might pitter-patter them. Just roll your thumbs to the sky and shoulders down. You want to stay in the heels and rise up to Utkatasana. Again, lift the toes, lift a little in the heels, find that playful balance. Maybe it's palms to heart. Maybe you got to move around a little and come onto the balls of your feet. You can move hips a little side to side. You're just getting into your heels and again, activating the hinge of the hips. 3 breaths. Yes, a little bit of work on the quads. There'll be less work on the front of the knees the more you get your hips behind you. So take just one more breath here. And exhale, take your fold. Nice job. Inhale to flat back. And on breath, when you're ready, plant your palms and step to high plank. Just squeeze your biscuits. Those would be your glutes if you're not familiar with them. Knees can be up or down, same pose. We're going to come chaturanga low. We're going to spend a breath or 2 lingering upward facing. Again, engage your glutes a little. Press to extend the front of the hips that we keep hinging. And maybe it's through tabletop, curling your toes to downward facing. You're going to reach your right foot to the sky. If you want a pillow, then go for it. Otherwise, when you're ready, you're stepping gently through to warrior 1. So again, a little combo, right? You have a little up dog stretch in the front of that left hip, so squeeze the glute. And then again, we have that hip hinge on the right side. So you want to activate equally through both engagements. Notice the difference side to side. Take one more breath in the reach. And when you're ready, Open warrior two. Just 3 breaths. Stack the shoulders. Again, a little stretch through the front of the left. We're still hinging at the right, so active in the low core, pelvic floor. And then slowly flip that front palm, inhale to reverse. Maybe you're just reaching up for length. Feel the ball of the back foot as you turn to square the hips. Most of the same strength in that right leg, you're going to keep it to step Utkatasana. For 3. Maybe you're exploring a little more buoyancy, or all the way down to Vrishasana. It's going to invite a little more core activity in the low belly. 1 more breath to fill up. And exhale to fold. Inhale to length. And then again, plant the palms with breath. So be slow about coming through low plank with strength. Get that breath or 2 to open, not just your heart and your throat, but the front of your hips. And then when you come through tabletop or mat, up to you, press downward facing, get a good breath in, reach those left toes. Maybe peel it open. Heel lifts a little bit higher, and then exhale, steps warrior 1. So palms are going to go wherever allows you a little more ease on the shoulders. The focus is in the hips. So again, engage the right glute, press it forward, and squeeze that right quad so you get the stretch in the front of that right hip. Level the hips and work the hinge on the left side. Hip flexor, low belly, and pelvic floor. Take 1 more good breath here, maybe reach, and we'll open warrior 2. Again, level hips, isolating the different actions. Right side gets the biscuit squeeze, peeling the hip open, and the front hip is still hinging. So activate hip flexor, low belly still active in the pelvic floor. And as you land your gaze again, 1 breath, or maybe 3 or 80 if you'd like to reverse the warrior. But again, strength shifts to the front leg as you pivot on that ball of your back foot from strength, step Utkatasana. Get a good breath here, fill up. And exhale, fold. So we're going to move on breath. Inhale, flat back. And plant palms to step, high plank. Chaturanga through low. And find your up dog, or your cobra, by the way. Lengthen the front of your hips and then downward facing. Right foot steps, warrior 1. A little more fluid, maybe a little reach up and back before you open. Flip the palms, reverse, and exhale, release. High plank to low, up dog, and down dog, left side. No thinking, big reach. Big breath, open. Flip the palms, reverse. And exhale, release. Step high, low. Take your heart opener, throat opener, hip opener, and release to downward facing. This time as you start to pick up your mat, you can take a walk to the front, give or take. You're going to inhale to that long spine. Keep breathing. Activate the low belly. Reach the arms. Reach warrior 3, arms in front of you. Move those hips way back. You're in the heels. And we'll lift Utkatasana. We're going to start to sink Vrishasana, which is hips moving to the heels. Now again, non-violence. If you have wonky knees, maybe you've had multiple surgeries, you have arthritis, any number of things, just a little tweak. Even sleeping gets dangerous as we age. Modify, you can sit on a block, right? Same pose. Or a couple of them. Or maybe the modification is you're on the balls of your feet, right? A little bit of balance. But again, it's that resistance from going over backwards, and as you start to come back, moving the block, don't break those buns of steel. We'll come right into your boat. Again, find the breath, find the low core, 5 little crunches. Keep the gaze lifted. 2 more. And then slowly come back to Viparita. Right? Flex the toes, press the low back, draw the belly into the spine, and as you reach, shoulders press down, lift a little. 5. Small little presses like you're going to move low ribs towards your pubic bone. Really isolating the low belly. 1 more. And gently release. Arms out to a T. You can always bend your knees, but definitely reflex the toes and breathe your feet a little to the right. Inhale, go back through center, and a little over to the left. Strength points. Inhale through center, and to the other side. Maybe you're getting a little more adventurous, reaching back through center, to the other side. It's not about how far you go. We'll take 1 more full cycle. Maybe it's more about massaging the sacrum. Breathe back through center, last side. Keep pressing those palms and using your core. And as you breathe back to center, bring the knees towards your heart. As you extend the left leg down your mat, we'll bring the right knee across the body. A little bit of supine twist. Right arm reaches out. Maybe so too does your gaze. And you're going to land wherever it feels good. So wherever gravity takes you, there's nothing to force. Bring yourself back through center. Scoot those buns back underneath you. Extend the right leg and we'll take the left knee across the body. Left palm opens to the sky. And you're letting yourself start to melt in, noticing just these few minutes of breath and movement. You may have built a little bit of heat. You might have started to sweat or forget what you were doing earlier in your day. Brilliant. As you bring yourself back gently to center, again, get your bum underneath you. You take your soles of your feet to plant and let your knees splay wide. You want to let gravity take them, so maybe it requires a block or 2 underneath your knees. Maybe you have a couple of small children, put them right under, give them something to do for 5 minutes. And they might last 30 seconds, no worries. As you wiggle your shoulders gently away from the ears, you're going to bring your left palm back to your belly. I'm going to set up that alternate nostril breathing 1 more time. So thumbs out. Pointer, middle finger press awkwardly down towards the heel of your palm, and we'll leave the ring finger, pinky finger up. And if that just feels weird, you know, it really doesn't matter. Stick a finger in your nose, whatever you gotta do. We'll start with plugging the right nostril. 3 cycles. Fill out. Rinse out. Internal cleansing. Switch nostrils, fill up. Exhale, scrub out any negative, stuck energy. Switch nostrils, breathing in calm. And breathing out anything you don't need. Filling up. Little respiration, exhale, big release. 1 more cycle. Switch nostrils. A little smoother, let it all out. Switch nostrils 1 last time, filling up. And let it out. So you bring that right palm to the heart, pause, to drop your jaw, to let some space spread across your brow. And so without moving, just an internal gesture as you move your mind to meet forehead center. Together we bow and we say, Namaste. So if you have time to linger, please be my guest. Otherwise, as you draw your knees gently back to the sky, you can tuck them in. And as you give yourself a gentle rock and roll one last time to come to seated and to move mildly towards the rest of your day, right, which I hope you all get a chance to enjoy in some small way. I love you all, and I'll see you tomorrow.